My name's Chris. I'm retired Army Sergeant First Class. My job in the military was explosive ordnance disposal or bomb disposal technician. On 27th February 2005 in southern Iraq, I was struck by a roadside bomb outside of my truck where me and my team member and one of my security team leaders was medevaced after that incident to Walter Reed.
So this week's video is going to be a really special video because we are going to be surprising my friend Chris with Midland's MXT275 Jeep Edition. So this is the Midland MXT275 GMRS Radio, 15 watts of power, 15 channels, 8 repeater channels. This model was actually the very first GMRS radio I had ever owned, and it had treated me well. I loved using this thing up until Midland offered the 575, which gives you 50 watts of power. But for those of you that don't want to spend for a 50 watt radio and are more on a budget and just need something that's awesome on the trails, this will treat you well. Now this is basically the same model that I had before. The only difference is the newer models now have USB-C, whereas mine had USB-A. So if you want to use this to charge up devices, it does come with a USB-C port. But the main difference is that this is the Jeep Edition. This is the standard kit mic that comes with the MXT275, but the Jeep Edition has awesome Jeep branding at the bottom with the Jeep Grill logo. Looks really nice and fits the form factor of this mic well. I think a lot of you are really going to like that. I'm sorry, Toyota owners, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I want them to come out with a Toyota branded one too because we own a 4Runner. But I'm not going to do a full review. I've already done this radio before, plus that's not really the focus of this particular video. If you want more information though, I will leave the link at the end of this video for you to click on. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get this over to my friend Chris. Now, a couple things you need to know about Chris is that he's a Purple Heart US veteran. We met on YouTube about a couple of years ago, and at the time I had just done a tire upgrade on the Jeep and was talking about getting my lift and who was going to do it, and he was watching the video and realized he lived pretty close to me and offered to do the lift for me. Now, I was super skeptical, like how am I going to just trust a stranger to do my lift, and I don't even know the guy, but I decided to go meet up with him and we ended up doing a video on it and we became fast friends. If you watched some of my older videos, you will have undoubtedly seen Chris in many of them, but we haven't done a video together for a while, so I'm excited to be doing this with him today. He has absolutely no idea. All you need to know is that he really, really loves Midland products. Like, he's been wanting and eyeing the GMRS radios for a while, but every time he's ready to pull the trigger, something always came up that he had to use his money for and he never got a chance to get it. But I know he wants one because every time Midland does some sort of giveaway or when we go to the expos, he'll put his name down in hopes that he'll win one. So I'm super amped about getting this one to him. Plus, it's a Jeep Edition MXT275, and I don't know a bigger Jeep fanatic than Chris. He knows everything about Jeeps and he knows everything about these radios. He's done all of his research already, he just doesn't have the product. So I'm super amped about getting this over to him and see what he thinks. So yeah, let's just head over there.
Hello?
Hey, come outside.
Okay.
So, man.
What's up, man?
Well, we hadn't done a video together in a while, and I was wondering if you could help me install something really quickly.
Like right this second?
Yeah.
Like how long is it gonna take?
It won't take long. It's I need you to help me install a GMRS radio.
You're full of shit.
No, for real.
You already have a GMRS radio.
Yeah, but you don't. MXT275 Jeep Edition.
No shit.
And I've done 3 of them already, and I figured let's install it. No one has this yet. It doesn't come out till next month.
Do we have to film it today?
I mean...
Only because I'm literally in there cooking dinner right now.
Oh.
They just got home.
I should come back.
It was shortly after breakfast, maybe late morning, just before lunch, I guess. We received a call, a convoy that was returning back to a base. I don't know if it was our base or another base, was struck by a roadside bomb. And when that happens, especially if there's injuries, which there was, we get called to come out and conduct what's called a post-blast investigation. We come out and look at the blast site, search the area for the triggers, and try to figure out what exactly happened, where it happened, how it happened. We pulled up, made our own little security cordon, searched our little area right around our trucks real quick. They let us know what happened. I send them back out to pull security, and then I start doing what's called a grid search towards the site of the detonation. The blast hole still had live explosives in it, so the whole bomb didn't go off. It was only a partial detonation, I guess you could say. So I found that, and I also found one of the triggers, or the trigger for that bomb. During that period of time, you always look for what we call secondaries. You know, there's a lot of times they'll set off one bomb to get you to do something, and then once they get you to do that and you get comfortable and think you're safe, they set off another bomb. So while I'm doing that downrange, my team member and my security team are further securing where our truck is parked and stuff, and looking for anything just in case, for secondaries, so on and so forth. I found the trigger mechanism. I gathered that up, placed it in a bag that I had in my pocket, worked my way back to the truck, to my team member, and at the side of the truck, just on the front of the passenger side of my truck, I showed them what I found, told them about the other ordnance that was still in the blast hole. So I handed the trigger to my team member. I told them there was another projectile still in the hole downrange, that I was going to go pick that up. It was safe to move. I handed the evidence to my team member, and as he was facing me, and also facing me was my security team leader, and I was facing this way, they were looking at me. As I told him to go ahead and put it away, my team member turned to his left, I turned to my right to face back downrange to go get the projectile, and just as that happened, a secondary device that we did not locate during our initial search detonated. I remember hearing the crack. I remember seeing something fly in front of my face, and then the next thing I remember is somebody grabbing me. I was on the ground. I couldn't see. I couldn't breathe. I just remember somebody grabbing me around my neck and pulling on me, and then my ears were ringing real bad, but I could hear like the muffled sound of gunfire, and everything kind of after that's a little bit of a blur. The explosion left me permanently blind in my left eye. I'm missing a tooth. Part of the damage from the tooth getting knocked out was I have bone loss in my upper jaw, which prevents them from putting in an implant. To be honest with you, the biggest one is just the pain. Ever since that day, I've lived with some form of pain. It has gotten worse over the years. I always have some type of joint pain, headaches. I have an implant in my eye. Like, they were able to retain my eyeball, the actual body of my eye, but all of its internal workings, to include my iris and everything else, have been surgically removed. If you ever had an eyelash get in your eye and you can feel that, I have that feeling 24/7, can't get rid of it. Just in general pain. amongst other things.
Don't want to jinx anything, but this could be one of the fastest, the simplest install we've done in a while, because one, we're probably not going to hardwire, we're just going to plug directly to a 12 volt. The 275 has a 12 volt socket because it's only 15 watts. If you were to get the 575, you would need to hardwire this a lot more power. 275, you do not. We could just plug this directly to a 12 volt socket. I know at some point Chris might go ahead and splice this and go hardwire into a battery, but because we have this with a built-in fuse already, we're going to use this. And then as far as the cable, for the antenna cable, he might already have it in place because he had a radio in there, a ham radio, that we might be able to use that, so we don't have to reroute this. If that's the case, then this won't take longer than 10 minutes. And then outside of that, we have the unit, which is a quick release. This just pops out easily, so you can hide this pretty much anywhere and it clicks. And obviously we have your mic, and then we have an antenna here, but he has the Midland stubby one that was running his ham radio. I think the hardest install is going to probably be this sticker, because it might peel and we might have a hard time with that. So that might be a little bit of an issue, but we'll get to that. But that adds, 10 horsepower. That's right, absolutely. Chris said hold this, and he didn't specify that I need to not hold it so tightly, and I broke that off. Just all you gotta do is unscrew and it'll come back on. Don't do that. You can just take the screw off and put it back on. It's just a little...
You mean you can take the screw off?
I'll remove... Yes, fine. But here's what we're going to do. So that plate...
Here, hold this. Rip.
The JK has a plate right here, which is this piece right here, that used to have a netting that he cut out. So we're going to remove this radio, put the MXT275 on there, pop it back into place, and then he already has a cable, the antenna cable running into there, so we can plug that in. And I'll plug in 12 volt socket, and then that's pretty much the install. Right? Yes.
Yes.
So you squeeze outwards, and then it'll pop out from the back.
Okay.
Pop this in place.
Oh, okay. Can it go in this way or this way?
It can go any way you want, yes.
All right, because I'm going to mount this way, but I want the speaker pointing down, not up against the dash. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely makes sense. So there it is. Easy enough because we're just using the same screw holes. All right, so now we just mount it back on. Let's plug up the radio and see if it works, and then we'll hopefully be done.
Grab the mic and the power.
The power cable. All right, got power, got that. Then you turn that on. Let's see if it turns on. There you go.
Check 1 2.
Roger, I got you loud and clear. How many over?
Nice.
You want to come out of here and here. Hold this lock button.
Okay.
There you go. Then you can choose. See how it's changing between the two?
Okay. How do I do both?
So, if I'm not mistaken, that's both.
Check 1 2. So there you go.
Oh yeah. That sounds good. If I had to do it all over again, would I do it? Absolutely, in a heartbeat. I mean, if it wasn't me, it would have been somebody else. I'm not saying that out of some, morbid need to be anybody's savior or anything, but it was, I joined the Army because I wasn't able to get into college because I goofed off as a kid, and I just happened to choose to be a bomb disposal technician just because the video that I watched on at the recruiter's office when I was 17 years old looked really cool, and it ended up being like the best experience of my life, and I loved every second of it. Were there terrifying times? Yes. Were there times I was scared? Yes. Have I lost a lot of friends? Yes. But I never really thought about it like, why am I doing this? I thought about it as if I wasn't here, somebody else would be here. And knowing what I know, I couldn't live with myself knowing that. I was trained, I was able, and I was willing to do it. So do it. And I don't have any qualms with that. I mean, I'd go back in a heartbeat and do it all over again. Yeah, absolutely. I would do it all over again. I have been wanting a Midland radio for a while, but I also live pretty much solely on my disability. So, and I have a kid, so it's I don't have YouTube sponsors.